a pair lower than aces. There was a chance Chris had jacks or queen. He wanted him to call.
The first big pot of the match goes to Phil Hellmuth. More from our championship match right after this. This tournament has heard some great table talk, but nothing said was more remarkable than Daniel Negreanu's first round prediction.
An eight. Eight of diamonds, that'll be exciting.
Turn
eight of diamonds.
Is the eight of diamonds, and Daniel makes it straight.
Okay. Jack of diamonds.
Not the jack of diamonds.
The river.
The jack of diamonds.
Call the date and the jack.
Jerry Buss said, no wonder the Lakers didn't get in the playoffs this year. Things like this happening.
Back to our championship match. Phil Hellmuth has a better than 3-2 chip lead. Chris Ferguson looking at pocket aces. He'll raise to 36,000 on the pocket rockets. A king 9 for Hellmuth.
Unfortunately for Phil, he's got a decent hand. He's going to call here.
Chip values are as such, by the way. Whites are worth 10,000, blacks 5,000, yellows 1,000.
Check.
You can hear Phil check in the dark. Flop comes 9-3 queen.
Phil does that to throw his opponent off. But Phil has flopped a pair of nines. It's a bad flop for Phil. Chris has aces with the ace of spades, and there's two spades out there.
So after Hellmuth checks, Ferguson bets 50,000.
And Phil calls immediately. Chris is aware that Phil has something now.
Turns a 10 of spades. Hellmuth checks again.
Now, neither guy liked that 10 of spades. Even though Chris has aces with the ace of spades, which he's checking to make sure he has the ace of spades, neither guy likes that, because that could have given Phil Hellmuth the best hand. A straight is possible, two pair is possible. Chris is going to make a big enough bet here, and he really doesn't want Phil to call. He'll be very happy taking this pot right now. If Phil calls or raises, Chris knows he's in trouble. He wants to win it right here.
12 white chips per our last discussion, 120,000 from Chris Ferguson.
I don't see how Phil can call. He's got a pair of nines and an inside straight draw. There's a possibility of a flush out there, a straight. Chris would have to be on a total bluff. Phil doesn't even have a spade. Taking a lot of time, though.
Hellmuth ran those same thoughts and folds the hand. So Chris Ferguson pulls close to even now by taking down that last pot.
And this is turning into the great match we thought it was going to be.
Ferguson knows he'll have to continue to play well to win this heads-up tournament.
I really feel that I'm playing the best poker of my life. But anytime you're running well, anytime you're winning tournaments and making final tables, tournament after tournament, you're going to feel you're playing well. This matchup is just incredible. You got the 1989 world champion in Phil Hellmuth, and you have the 2000 world champion in me, and it's going to be a battle royale out there.
Poker is like any sport. It helps to come in with a lot of confidence.
Phil Hellmuth never lacking confidence on 6-4 calls. Unsuited connectors for Chris Ferguson via the Amberbach pocket cam. He checks. Flop is deuce 10-5.
Chris has flopped a pair of tens, and Phil has an inside straight draw.
Chris checks on his top pair.
Let's see if Phil Hellmuth gets aggressive.
Check.
Well, the answer there is no for the time being. Turns a 7 of hearts.
Now this gives Phil an open-end straight draw. He can win with a 3 or an 8. He's also got a small flush draw.
Ferguson bets 16,000. Hellmuth quick to call. Rivers an 8 of diamonds. Hellmuth makes his straight.
Now that makes the board look a lot more dangerous than it looked before.
Chris checks.
Now Phil Hellmuth feels he has the best hand here. He's got the straight. He doesn't feel that Chris has a flush. He wants to extract as much money as possible.
He decides 50,000 is the right amount to bet.
Now, one thing Chris does not want to do, and that's let Phil Hellmuth bluff him. He's trying to figure out what Phil could have.
Ferguson calls and loses the pot. Hellmuth straight takes down the win.
Chris is going to give up that $50,000. He did not want to get bluffed.
And you get the idea that he's still thinking about it. The blinds will increase now to 10 and 20,000 as the action continues to press.
Both these players asked their wardrobe consultants what to go with, and they said, basic black. Keep going with the basic black.
Suited connectors for Ferguson. He raises to 60,000.
He's smarting from that last hand, from that last call that he feels now he shouldn't have made.
On King 7, Hellmuth calls.
Phil Hellmuth picks up on something here. He feels Chris Ferguson is steaming from that last call, and he's decided to call with King 7 offsuit.
Oh, big flop for Phil Hellmuth. 2-pair.
He's flopped 2-pair, and Chris Ferguson has flopped an inside straight draw.
As per usual, Hellmuth with the big hand checks.
Now Chris has put his chips at risk by raising 60,000 before the flop. He's going to follow it up here with a bet.
I'm all in.
He bets 90,000, and before we can even announce the amount, Hellmuth moves all in.
Phil Hellmuth knows he got lucky with that flop. He's not going to fool around here. He's immediately going to go all in. He hopes Chris Ferguson has pocket aces, ace, king, a hand that he'll have to call with.
Ferguson folds. And Phil Hellmuth's lead in match 1 of this best-of-3 championship grows to better than 3-1.
Sometimes a card comes up, an amateur plays a hand he's not supposed to, and I go, what? How could you hit that card?
You cannot be serious!
Exactly. And then, you know.
I never saw McEnroe say, I cannot believe these suckers that hit these forehands down the line against me.
In the same room and on the same air, John McEnroe and Phil Hellmuth. As our first match in the best-of-3 championship continues, Queen 3 for Chris Ferguson.
Howard Lederer asking Gus Hansen's advice on how he too can become